Yeah, so I just watched all the Harry Potters, but I started with Chamber of Secrets, and then I worked my way through to Deathly Hollows Part 2, then went back and watched Sorcerer's Stone. And what I realized when I watched it like that is one, Sorcerer's Stone is easily the best movie. Easily. If you go in order, it's almost like they get worse as it goes, and it's a perfect linear relationship between them as they go down. Two, in Sorcerer's Stone, that's pretty much the only Harry Potter movie they actually show you a Quidditch match. It's pretty much the only one. They show the snippets and here and there, but it's pretty much like every other movie in the Harry Potter franchise treats it like Blue Mountain State does. And Sorcerer's Stone actually had a real ass, dope ass Quidditch thing. And the effects hold up. It's crazy how well they hold up. It's obvious that, like, okay, that's obviously CGI. That's CGI. But it looks great. And you can follow it, and it doesn't feel like you're getting lost. There's so many real elements. I don't know how they did it. Also, if you look at here's like the first Harry Potters are all bright and colorful, and then it gets dark and grungy, and green and blue, and it sucks. Like the first two or three, right up until after Goblet of Fire is where it all goes to shit. And they're all good movies. They're all obviously good. But what I'm saying is that it gets dark as fuck. Like you can't see anything. Everything's so murky and ugly, and the colors grading is just tragic. I think it's because like Christopher Nolan got big around that time, and I don't know the specific movies, but they were doing some harsh color grading, and like they would say dumb shit. I heard kids tell me like, oh, if you don't even know about color grading, you don't even know shit. I'm just like, you know what? It looks good raw. How about it just looks good fucking raw when you can actually see that that's green grass, that's blue sky, and your outfit's red. I can see it. But no, let's make it all pretty much desaturated, like with a fucking like a Facebook profile, MySpace profile picture where you just up the contrast to be artsy because there's not a lot of effects and you don't have Photoshop. But also, on top of all of that, the first Harry Potter movie, up until Goblet of Fire, I would say, up until Goblet of Fire, has good costume design. Really well done. I mean, the little kids, so like they obviously they're dressed like English little kids, and that's kind of silly. That's kind of dumb. But it looks fine because they're little kids and they're wearing colorful whatever. They're wearing just stupid basic. It's not fashion Potter. But when you get past Goblet of Fire, something happens, and I don't know who got hired or who should have got fired or whatever it was, but the outfits get so fucking gay. They just get bad. They just look stupid. Like the worst outfit. I'm sorry, I'm not hating on anybody if you do this, but is the fucking t-shirt with the ring collar, the basic ass scrunchy t-shirt. It's got the ring collar and then it's got a ring here. It's so basic. Like nobody except a fucking Old Navy ad ever wore that on purpose. And Harry's gonna wear it for the next 4 fucking movies. It's like he gets this big ass hair in Goblet of Fire, and then it gets super short, and it stays short the rest of the series. But like cutting his hair was like Samson. They cut all of his swag off. Like it in the early movies, you can follow it and care. I read all the books, by the way. But in the early movies, you can care and follow it because it's like he's kind of like a blank slate, but he has enough of a personality where he's like. I was trying to figure it out actually, like. If you watch Star Wars, like, Luke Skywalker, he starts out being like he's cocky, he's braggadocious, he's out there, and he's not really, you get to see the hero's journey, but whatever. Harry Potter follows more of an anime sort of like element, where Harry is essentially like the typical episode 1, season 1 of some anime show, where the main character is like this meek little dweeby I don't know if I could do it. Maybe I wish I could do it though. Deep down there's latent potential. And Harry has that aspect. And then they give him like he gets Draco, and as soon as he meets Draco, he gets his foil, and then he rises to the occasion, and suddenly you see his actual personality come through. And then it's like it lets you like give like more leeway with he's the chosen one. Because he actually has some personality and it's cool to watch him go from like meek and to a full-on badass. The problem is, if you watch like any cartoon, any anime, any series where someone starts off as like a weak little dweeb and then they become a big badass by the end of it, they look badass at the end of it. And Harry does not look badass at all. Like, he doesn't look dope. He doesn't look sick. He looks like a fucking loser. He looks like a fucking dork. And they all look like dorks. Obviously, Ron is good casting for the first movie, I guess. But when I read the books, Ron was like a Chad. He was like a dumb jock bro with a good heart. And in the movies, he's a loser. He's just like, he's like a friend who would like make fun of you or betray you or backstab you if he had the chance. I just get that vibe from him. He fucking sucks. Rupert Grint wasn't a good. I mean, he's a. I imagined Ron as like a Chad, and they made Ron into like a dork, a dweeb, a loser. And then when they hype him up and people look up to him and Hermione falls for him, you just can't buy it. You just can't believe it. Like, I don't know. I could go on and on about this, about like especially the fucking wizard economy. How does any of this work? Why is anyone poor? Why are the Weasleys living in filth? Why is Ollivander's shop completely, like, just fucking dilapidated? Why is there just bullshit everywhere? It's messy as fuck. It's dusty as fuck. You have magic, nigga. You can just fucking clean up your shop. Every shop could look like an Apple store made out of marble. It could look amazing. Like, why are Gringotts, the Goblin Jew Bank, why is that bank special? Anyone could do that. Like, and then your spells, you just say it, and you don't even really have to wiggle your wand, and you don't even really have to say it. You just have to feel it. This economy makes no sense. It's kind of retarded. And if you really think about it, the Muggles would have fucked up these wizards if this is how it actually worked, and you had to go Avada Kedavra, or it fucking at the very end where he's like Avada Kedavra. And if you go to the end of Goblet of Fire, there's a little Easter egg that I found, that if you go to the very end and you listen to Dumbledore give a speech about Cedric's death, he says, "But to not do so, I think would be a disgrace to his memory." Me and my friends just thought that part was super fucking funny every time. So I don't know. I just had to get this off my chest because I just finished watching the whole series. And it's good. It holds up. You could tell that the people who made it loved the book and they cared about what they're doing and they wanted to do something dope. Up until, like, it almost seems like that. So, like, there's, like, 2 or 3 books out when the first movie gets made. And so the people who get hired to make the movie, it's like people who actually loved the books and cared and loved what they were doing. And nobody knew that it was going to be, like, the next Star Wars or a huge moneymaker. So they didn't milk it. They didn't drain it. They didn't treat it like a poker chip. It was still a gamble. So it was more organic about who was working on it. Past Goblet of Fire, they damn well know this is a money printing machine and there's nothing they could really do to make it not work, to make it not print money. They dressed him like a fucking loser. They made everything black and gray and green and gross. And they still made $1 bajillion. So, like, later on in the series, I have this theory that, like, that's where, like, nepotism came in because they, like, knew that if you could work on a Harry Potter movie, guaranteed money, guaranteed prints, a money printer. So at that point, it becomes valuable to the heebie-jeebies who are working upstairs, and they like, oh, you know, I do owe my cousin a favor. How about I get I'll put his nephew in as the third gaffer, or the best boy. You know, I feel like that's how that movie got made. So I don't know. That's the end of my thing. I think that's all I got to say about Harry Potter. What else is there anything? No, that's pretty much it. Pretty much everyone's a bitch. The school is really small. Collectively, like how many kids there are in that school, it doesn't make sense that they ride on the train to get there. So much of it really doesn't make sense. It really fucking doesn't. But it's fun. It's a fun time and it's cool. Much cooler than a lot of the gay shit that's everywhere. So shout out Harry Potter. J.K. Rowling is like a textbook example of you thought you could control the dark magic, did you? You thought that you could utilize the dark magic. But what if we just use the ring? We could use the ring to defeat Sauron. You thought that, JK. You thought that. You dumb bitch should have read your own book. It never works out. Bad things happen to witches who meddle in fucking identity politics. You dumb fucking bitch. This is what you get for making my headmaster gay. My Dumbledore wasn't gay. I read it before any of that shit existed. I read it before identity politics even existed. And then she came out and she said that Dumbledore was gay. And then guess what? Now you're gay. You can't do anything about it. You got a fucking army of losers. I don't even want to describe it. It's a fun little story. But anyways, that's what I think about Harry Potter. I liked it. It was a good time. Here's a movie review. I don't give a fuck. I could talk about, oh, did you hear there was a shooting in the what the fuck ever? Oh, did you hear that they called Candace Owens had a dream last night? Nick Fuentes is going on Joe Rogan next week. What's happening? Oh, no, I don't care. I don't care. Watch Begonia. That was a fun one. I don't care. Take everything with a grain of salt. Maybe Harry Potter, later movies, he did dress fly as fuck. I don't think so. I don't think, I'm not saying you have to be the fucking Mac Daddy or anything, but he looks like a loser. Go watch it. Something happens after Goblet of Fire and he cuts his hair. It's like Samson. He loses all of his swag. So yeah, Harry Potter, love it. Great. Highly recommend it. Great example of hero's journey. Satisfying. Made with love. Also, they should make Quidditch more. But I guess the reason why they don't make more Quidditch matches is because Quidditch as a sport is retarded and would not be enjoyable to watch. You know how hockey, you can't even really see where the puck is? You can't. How did people watch hockey on old TVs? You couldn't see shit. You just see guys skating around and every now and then a fucking buzzer goes off. But in Harry Potter, you're sitting on the stands and you're watching people fucking play this stupid sport where... I don't know. It's been said enough times why that sport's retarded. But nobody could see anything. And it wouldn't be exciting. So I don't know if they could actually make it exciting. So, Harry Potter. Take it with a grain of salt. Be a good person. Peace. Call your mom. And talk to her about Harry Potter. My mom loves Harry Potter. My mom would get the book. And it would come out. In the morning, she'd go get it. And then before I woke up in the morning, she'd be done with it. She could just read that shit that fast. I can't do that. I'll read one page and I'm just like thinking. I stop and I think about it. I'm like, what would I do if I was Harry? I would get a gun. Okay, everyone have a good day. Peace. Bye. Call your mom.